yeah. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to This Pink Cloud. I am DJ Kelly Reverb, RSPS, and... Where's my fart noise, dude?
I'm not giving it to you because that's what you
dude,
want.
I was so wanting it and ready for it. There you go. Perfect. But we are a show about recovery, multiple pathways to recovery, mental health, all that kind of good stuff. Thank you for tuning in. Oh, yeah, and I always forget. Please subscribe if you get a sec, because we are almost at 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. Mm-hmm. We have grown from 2 to almost 1,000 now.
Damn,
so it's
bro.
getting up there.
Awesome.
I mean, it's been a long haul, dude. You've
That's
been
cool.
you've been a part of it, dude. So I love
That's
it, dude.
cool.
And thank you for being a part of it. Of course.
And a loyal subscriber.
There we go. I love it. I love
Yeah,
it. Even
dude.
though I only watch the episodes that I'm on, and when I talk,
That's not true. I've watched some other episodes. The dusty ones I like.
oh, the dusty
Well,
ones.
who
Okay,
else?
so we have to have key people
Dude,
on.
do
for
your
you
do
to-
your Dusty impression. Kelly.
Come on.
Oh, Dusty is. He's here. Dusty's a.
He breathes into the
he's-
mic.
I love you, Dusty, but Dusty's a little bit of a mouth
He's a-
breather.
Oh.
Like, no, just because he gets so relaxed. He's
Yeah,
so
yeah, yeah.
chill.
He's so
done-
present.
he's done so much ketamine.
Oh, shit.
That he's like,
He's purring.
no, but I love Dusty. I love Dusty. Dusty.
That's a great way to present it.
Should I have not said that?
I think there's a way to say that sounds different than
It's
how you
therapy, guys.
Yeah, right. We're real. We come
It's
at
like
you.
a mental health professional.
It's therapeutic.
Right. Anyway, sitting in on the board, my boy Chad Lamons, everybody.
I give myself the part.
There you go. I love it. I love it.
Man.
And as you heard earlier, always love having this guy on the show because that means one more listener per episode.
Me.
Ladies and gentlemen, the people's champ, Josh W. Jordan. And I do love the new facial hair, dude. The mustache.
appreciate that.
I do. Do you have the shades that match that?
So
Are they in your car?
No, my son broke them in half.
Okay.
Pit vipers are not that durable,
All right.
despite the fashion they're usually worn in, like
Right.
NASCAR and
Right.
outdoors.
Bro.
No, dude.
Yeah.
Just the fact that they're called
Pit
Pit
Viper.
Vipers, dude. I immediately knew what you said, what you were talking
I
about.
immediately
and
felt
immediately
it.
had.
Iconic.
Yeah, dude. Pit Viper.
Are they? Is that like what Riff Raff wears?
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
Like, totally, Riff Raff. Dude. I gotta send you that one video of the guy wearing the shades. He takes them off and he's got another pair underneath. It's great. Anyway,
Hold on,
but,
before you
yeah.
intro Tony,
Yeah.
Riff Raff did a commercial for a treatment center. Is everybody clear that this happened?
Wait, what?
I did not know that.
That's
Riff Raff
awesome.
Was let me not assume he was paid. He may really be advocating for Boca Recovery.
Okay.
You can YouTube this. He hops out of his truck. He said, "Being sober's awesome."
Right?
And he's talking about playing sports. He's got a baseball bat and his husky, and he's just like, "Come on, sobriety." You know what I mean? And Boca Recovery, and then the logo flash. It's
I like
2
it.
minutes long. It's incredible.
I'm
I
wondering
need to
who
watch it.
saw that and was like, I'm going to get my life together.
Yeah, right, dude.
If I relapse,
fan
bro,
of- a fan
I'm
of
calling
Riff Raff.
Boca Recovery, dude.
That's right,
Easy.
dude.
Only if Riff Raff comes for the intervention.
Right. Oh, there you go, dude. That would be good.
That's my
yeah,
sober
yeah,
transport.
yeah. Hey, okay, so let me go ahead and introduce our guest of the hour. I have known this guy for quite a while because we're kind of in the DJ scene. You do more like drum and bass, kind of junglist stuff, but you play drum and bass, right?
I do.
Yeah.
I do.
But you're also you are a house manager at Stages of Recovery.
Yes.
Correct. Okay. Cool. But ladies and gentlemen, my good friend, new good friend, Tony D. How are you, bud?
What's up?
Thank you for making the journey from Waco.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's not really that bad
Yeah.
of a drive,
Right.
you know.
Cool. But yeah, we were talking, dude. You have a pretty crazy story. I mean, I've heard Chad's story. Chad's pretty crazy, but yours might be up there, dude. You might be up there, you might make it to the top 10 craziest stories ever.
I haven't heard it.
Nice.
I'm excited.
So yeah, dude. So spin us a yarn.
Well, a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away.
Right.
So I'm from Fort Worth.
Uh huh.
That is the galaxy pretty far away.
Yeah. totally different world. So I grew up over by TCU, and at that time, like, TCU hadn't made it into the top 12 yet. Basically the neighborhood was being gentrified as I was
Right.
growing up.
And their quarterback hadn't sold ecstasy yet.
Yeah,
yeah, that was a thing, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I remember.
Let's talk about allegations.
I just remember, like, hey, here's some nice houses. Here's some not so nice houses. I just remember, like, there was like.
Okay, so technically, what is the nice side of Fort Worth?
Man, there's
pockets?
There's pockets,
Okay.
exactly.
All right.
There's pockets over closer to TCU. Then you have Tanglewood.
Okay.
And
Anyway,
Yeah.
so back to your story.
Do some drugs. Don't
Yeah,
Yeah.
do some drugs. Do some drugs, Tony. Which pockets did you go to do drugs?
man,
All of them.
all I can think of is like Polly Pocket now.
Okay, this beefy guy thinking about a child toy for
what was
for
the
girls.
dudes? Mighty Max. It was Mighty Max. the
Yeah.
little pocket things. Yeah. See, I'm
Okay.
not crazy.
All right.
But so I just remember, like, growing up, that I was either hanging out with like older kids or younger kids, like never really my age demographic. My best friends lived, so I lived off a traffic circle called Bluebonnet Circle, and they lived right across.
Tony,
From
are
that.
you blind?
Huh? No, I close my eyes so I can concentrate.
Okay. Hey, if you want to, I'm going to let you rock with that. But I had another guest that was on the show, and he actually goes, "Dude, I close my eyes too much." And I just wanted to point that out on the air awkwardly. No, I just wanted you to be okay so you don't watch the episode back and go, "Oh, man, I close my eyes too much." But just as long as it's out there and it's open, now we know.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm
So
very,
do your thing.
Very ADD, very ADHD.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
Close your eyes, go to your quiet place, tell us all about it.
quiet place. But yeah, my mom, she said that I would like run full blast into walls,
Okay.
get up and do it again. Like, and she's like, "Oh my God, what's wrong with my kid?" And she took me to the doctor, took me to Cook's Children's Hospital, and they were like, "Yeah, he has ADD and ADHD."
Mm-hmm.
So I got thrown on Adderall at a pretty young age.
Yeah.
And
About how old were you?
5.
Okay. Sweet, dude. There
Yeah, hell yeah, skitsed out little 5-year-old.
You go.
you know?
Right. Right.
But so automatically that here's the weird kid that takes medicine. You
Uh-huh.
know?
Oh, yeah. You already got that one. He's already, yeah.
Yeah, and the never really. It's like such a stereotypical story of like, oh, I just didn't fit in and
Right.
blah blah blah. But it's true.
Well,
you know?
hey, I mean, I think that's a lot of reason why we turn to feel comfortable.
Yeah.
You know, why we turn to substance.
Yeah, I was in Catholic school. My mom worked in the kitchen just to get like a deduction on tuition to go. So like kindergarten through 6th grade, I was in Catholic school, and
On Adderall.
Yeah, on Adderall. The real popular kids, they didn't really mess with me. And one of my somebody who I'd gotten into a fight with, they made us become friends there, and so we became best friends.
Right.
Yeah. So it was just me and my friend Jason against the whole school.
Okay. Right.
You
Well,
know?
but I bet you were a bigger kid, so nobody
No,
probably...
I was
were you
not.
small?
I was not always this big. I was
Okay.
about average height.
Okay.
You know, just an average.
Because right now, how tall are you? Like
6'5".
Yeah, okay.
So
Big motherfucker.
yeah, I know. He's
Yeah.
a big dude.
So-
I want him on he's on my team, dude. He's first pick.
dude, well, it's
Right.
funny you say that because my grandfather, my mom's father, was a Green Bay Packer,
Oh, okay.
and then he was an NFL ref, and then he was the sheriff of Fort Worth.
Oh, wow.
So the Lon Evans.
I was
jail-
going to throw in a fudge packer joke about Chad. I was going to do that about Chad, but I went ahead and refrained, even
That
though
one
I
really
just
hurt
said
my
it.
feelings. You're fucking chotch.
What about the jail?
Yeah, so the Lon Evans jail downtown, that's named after my grandfather.
Whoa.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. Not a place you want to go.
Did
Right.
you ever go?
I didn't, thank God.
Thank God.
Oh
Do you
my
know who
God.
my
That-
grandfather is?
Yeah, my grandfather started this jail.
Oh my Lord.
Right.
Yeah. when you mess up and or can I cuss on here?
Yeah.
Okay, so
Fuck yeah.
when you fuck up in Tarrant County,
Right.
that's where you go.
Okay.
You know, and yeah, you don't want to fucking be there.
Right.
But so yeah, there's my grandfather has his history, and so that kind of my dad he worked for my grandfather as a probation officer, and my mom worked at the school. My mom would work odd jobs. She worked at a runaway shelter and stuff like that, just so they could pay for me to go to a nice school. And so me and like my friend
So it sounds like your family's working really hard to afford you opportunity. At least your mom was.
to afford me.
Yeah. To afford you
Yeah.
a better opportunity at a
No,
shot. A better so-called education and a shot at a better
And,
lifestyle.
Yeah, and somewhere along the line, I just drifted the other way.
Right.
I kind of just associated with, or just got along with, I guess the freaks and geeks, if you will.
Gotcha. Yeah.
You
No,
know?
I love that show, by the way.
Yeah,
I wish that was on.
Man, I never got a chance to watch it.
Well, it's a
I
rerun,
know all
so,
about it.
yeah, it's good.
It was James Franco and Seth Rogen.
Right.
Yeah, but that's, we
that was
listen
your
to-
peeps.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
like listen to metal and stuff
Right.
like skateboarded, and so like summer of 6th grade, I started befriending kids in the neighborhood, and there was this one kid who was like 15, I was like 11 or 12, and we skated, we smoked cigarettes, stuff like that,
Right.
and I remember walking up on them in the driveway one night, and I'm like, what are y'all doing? And he's like, hey, get out of here. I'm like, man, y'all are smoking weed, aren't you? And he's like, shut up, man. My mom's going to hear.
right.
I'm like, if you don't let me smoke some, I'm going to scream so your mom comes out here. I'm just going to yell extra loud,
Blackmailing people for their weed.
Yeah.
Nice.
And so they were like, this weekend, just get out of here. I'm like,
Right.
okay. And at this time, I guess, I don't know if my mom or the doctors would call it a midlife crisis, but my dad was going through some things, He was cool. He kind of, he let us drink beer and stuff. And
At 12.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
And,
Just framing that.
yeah.
Right.
But I remember sitting on the front porch, and I'm like talking to my dad. I'm like, hey, Dad, I'm going to smoke weed this weekend.
Okay.
And
cool.
he was like, really? I'm like, yeah. He's like, can I come? And I was ecstatic, And
yay.
I went and told
father son.
I went and told
Activity.
I went and told these kids, and they're like, they knew he was a probation officer, so they were like, oh, he's a narc. He's going to narc us out. and
Your
blah, blah.
dad is a probation officer as well. Okay. So
Yeah.
I'm just adding that one in there.
Yeah.
Too. Okay. Cool.
And I'm like, well, that isn't exactly what my dad does, and probably if he did do that, y'all would be like the last on his list.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But yeah, so summer of leaving 6th grade, going into 7th grade, it was the first time like I got stoned, and
With your dad or no?
no, not this time.
Oh.
Yeah,
Okay.
this was in the garage.
But it was from the kids that you blackmailed?
yes.
Okay, cool.
Uh-huh.
All right.
Yeah.
Right.
And man, this was back when like, party fouls and, you'd get fucked with
Right.
when you got stoned for the first time,
Uh-huh.
like running through the forest. I don't know if anybody knows what that is. They make you close your eyes and they're like, you run through a forest. You go
Oh,
left,
yeah.
Go right, you go left. Boom. You hit
Yeah,
a
and they
tree.
smack you on the forehead.
Yeah. Knocking me right off a lawnmower.
Oh, nice. Okay. What the fuck are you doing on a lawnmower?
And we were in the
dude?
garage. We're in the garage smoking at this kid's house across the street from the person who I blackmailed
Okay.
because he had an older brother.
And they had a riding lawnmower in their
Yeah.
garage, which makes sense. I get it. But you're just sitting on there taking the pot.
taking the pot,
Right.
taking 6 pots at one time.
Right.
Just a whole lot of gang shit.
Okay.
But yeah, and it was awesome, man. Like
Right.
then my dad started smoking weed with us, and I brought my friend who I went to school with in on it,
Uh-huh.
and it was really cool. Like we would tell my mom like we were going to church and stuff. My dad would take us to like Discovery Zone. And this was when like Men in Black laser tag was going on.
Oh, dude, I remember
yeah.
the Discovery Zone with the Men in Black
Yes,
laser tag.
bro.
Dude, that shit was dope.
So
dude.
he'd just let us run. We'd get stoned out in the parking lot, and he would just sit there and eat pizza and hot dogs, and we'd fucking run around there just lit as
All right.
fuck. You know,
Okay.
it was awesome.
Right.
But somewhere along the line, we started going to this therapist. You know, it was like me and my dad versus my mom.
Oh wow.
You
Okay.
know,
Yeah.
like, and
Well,
so-
I guarantee your mom was going to lose that one in your court of opinion.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Mom, do you smoke weed? No.
No. Mom, you make me go to school.
Yeah.
You make me go to a school I don't want to.
Oh my
Never
Lord.
seen you in a parking lot with hot dogs and fucking pizza.
Right, exactly.
You're lame.
Yeah. But I guess the doctor convinced my dad to tell my mom, you know, because he told him, and he was like, wow, you need to communicate that with your wife. Like, that's not right. And so he told my mom, and like, I don't think she spoke to us for like a week or something.
Right.
She was pissed. She
Imagine that,
she
dude.
Knew something, she knew something was going on, but
Right.
she just couldn't quite put her finger on it. And that came out, and there was some instances after that where my dad would like smoke, but then he stopped, and anytime that he caught me, he would tell on me.
Oh.
So that instantly created, all right, now it's me versus mom and dad.
Oh, okay.
And so something had happened, and me and my
Probably a good marital move on your dad's part
It was.
to align with your mother.
totally,
Yeah,
totally
yeah. I
understandable
get
now. But when you're a kid, you're like,
Right. Yeah.
Traitor.
Yeah, exactly.
yeah, it just caused that like separation and stuff. So like me and my friend had gotten in a fight because I was hanging out with these kids that they didn't get along with, these like little hoodsy ass kids. So like I'm like on the edge, like here's my neighborhood, and there's like project housing over here, and then my best friend lived in this neighborhood over here.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like hanging out with these like wannabe gangbanger kids, and like I was trying to stop hanging out with them, but my best friend, like, he was like, man, you're fucking hanging out with them, I'm fucking done with you. And like, so that was like going into 8th grade, and I don't know, that shit fucked me up, man.
Mm-hmm.
And I was getting put on a whole bunch of different medications and stuff.
Right.
And so like,
Well, what fucked you up about it? Like when
Man,
you say it.
I don't, that was like my best friend, and I guess it
Oh,
was
him like alienating
Yeah.
and saying, I don't want to be a
Him
part
and-
of what you're doing now.
him and his brother. I remember
Okay.
he came over to borrow a skate tool, and that was the last I'd seen of him.
Right.
And man, I don't know if it was like raging codependency at that age.
Right. It could be.
You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
but it messed me up, man.
Right.
And I stopped going to school in 8th grade, and like I was getting put on all these medications. I think they had diagnosed me with like depression or something and put me on. I've been through like just about every ADD and ADHD medication they
Right.
offered in the 90s, and
Mhm.
and then I got thrown on this depression medicine, and so it was a cry for help mostly, but I slipped my wrist, you know,
Mhm.
and I got thrown in Millwood.
Okay.
So that's an inpatient hospital in Arlington, like a lockdown.
Shout out Millwood.
Yeah,
All right.
shout out Millwood, man. But it was a wild experience being in there. There was like parents like sneaking in drugs to like
Oh, wow.
their kids, and
Right.
they had a huge meeting this one time, and all the family members were in there, and they were going in and like doing like a check, like, oh, how are you doing? And everybody's like, oh, good, blah, blah, blah. And they get to this one kid, and they're like, how are you doing? He's like, bad. And they're like, why bad? And he's like, well, I'm still doing drugs in here. And, you know, everybody freaks out. They're
Right.
like, well, the counselor's
Yeah, like drugs in here.
like, yeah,
Right.
How are you getting drugs in here?
Mm-hmm.
Who's bringing them in? And then you just hear this one dude over here. He's like, yeah, who's bringing them in? And he raises his finger to point.
Uh-huh.
No sooner does his finger go up,
Uh-huh.
that dude shoots out of the chair and just starts.
Wailing on him.
And
Oh,
then
nice.
the families like
Dude.
come and start
I
fighting
love it,
each
dude.
other.
So it turned into like Jerry Springer.
freaking Springer,
Nice.
bro. I was like, Jesus Christ. So
Oh my!
I was
Yeah.
gonna say, yeah, Chad was doing heroin while he was in the hospital.
Oh no.
Through his main line.
Yeah,
I did that too.
I think y'all have a lot
It's a
in
free
common.
hit.
Yeah,
dude.
man, I wish I did that.
Right.
But yeah, so I'd go in and out of these inpatient hospitals a lot.
Right.
And I don't, obviously there are some mental issues going on, but I don't know if like this was like addiction flaring up before it was even in full force. Mm-hmm. Like they say,
Before it was Super Saiyan.
yeah, before it was Super Saiyan. I don't know if it was Charlie C or somebody that like told a story about like a woman who was like in a home, never touched a drop of alcohol before, and she was having trouble sleeping, and they started giving her whiskey or something, and then like she started acting like erratic and was trying to break into the case, because this was a long time ago.
Yeah.
Where they kept the whiskey. And so they had these doctors come in and evaluate her, and this one doctor said, well, this lady's been suffering from untreated alcoholism her whole life, and it didn't set off the phenomenon of craving until it hit her lips. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, well, that kind of goes back to like, well, I was born this way.
Uh-huh. Right. Yeah.
Baby, I was born this way. But yeah, so I'm not sure. So I'd go in and out of those places, and then high school came around, and my best friend, we started becoming friends again, and he had gone off and he stopped smoking because he got laced with PCP, and he couldn't smoke anymore after that. He had a freak out session. So when we would hang out, he would drink, and we accumulated all these new people into our circle, and we had eventually like find my mom's back stock of Xanax.
Oh yeah, there you go.
One day we couldn't get any weed, and so I bring these kids that one of our other friends introduced to us, and I'm like, hey, yeah, my mom's got these pills that I take sometimes. Let's go back here. Mm-hmm. And we're like going through the things, and I'm like, I think this is it. What's alprazolam? And I just see these dudes' eyes just light up. And
what does it mean when they're 2 milligrams?
Well, see, these were the peaches.
Oh, okay.
But these bottles were huge,
right?
Man, and they're, oh my god! Like, and I just kept finding them.
Right. Oh, she just had stashes.
Yeah,
dude, nice.
dude.
I like it. Mom was a pill hoarder.
Oh my, yeah. Like
it.
She didn't even take them.
Yeah. She had like a prescription. She had a prescription from like the 90s.
Oh
dude.
my god! And it was just after that like truancy, running with the cops, all the time.
Yeah.
Parental interventions.
Nice.
They had brought my buddy. Like we walked in one time, and all the parents are sitting in my friend Jared's apartment. And they're like, y'all are doing this, rah, 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 rah. We're sitting there, me and my friend TC, with our skateboards. And they're like, look, you can't eat. They're like, you're all fucked up right now. And he's like, I'm not fucked up. Look, I can walk a straight line. And he took 2 steps and just face planted.
Boom. Nice.
All the parents freaked out and huddled around him. So
right.
we just made our way out the back door of the apartment and just peeked
But was
out.
the intervention was for him, your friend? Okay.
Yeah. And so
you just left him behind. Man down, dude.
Oh, that sucks to be you.
Yeah,
Bye.
hell yeah, we're out of here,
right?
man. Fuck. And I just remember, like, my grandma had died, and that friend who got interventioned, my mom had found a sack of weed and hadn't said anything yet. And he was like, dude, you ought to just tell your mom. And that you smoke weed. I did it. His mom,
Yeah, but that wound up getting you intervention.
So what happened, man, he convinced his mom. His mom, she drank a lot. Right? And she just she's like, whatever, do whatever. And he's like, yeah, just tell her. It's better than lying to her. So I did, after they had just buried her mom. And she's like, is there something you want to tell me? I found pot in your room. And I would always lie. You know what I'm saying? And finally I was just like, look, Mom, like, I smoke weed. I'm not going to stop. if you want to kick me out, that's okay.
Right.
But I'm not quitting. And I should also like inform everybody I was an only child.
Okay.
So yeah.
You were their only hope, dude.
Oh,
yeah.
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 Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Yeah,
you know
you're
what I'm saying?
Luke Skywalker, dude. He's
Luke
our only
Skywalker was
hope.
not an only child.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
Needless to say.
No, but there
Yeah.
will be another. Yeah, that was.
And he
Princess
also
Leia.
fell in love with his
Yeah.
sister or something.
Yeah,
like
that's
that.
true. He made out with.
There
his
is
sister.
another.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. But yeah, she was jaw dropped.
Right.
You
Yeah.
know? And then so there were these older kids that we hung out with that were badass skaters. I mean, there was hood rat ass little kids. Man.
Right.
You know
Right.
what I'm saying? Like beat people up with their skateboard and shit like that. And
Mm-hmm.
so we had gotten old enough to where they were like, hey, like this is what we're doing.
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny because his mom, my friend Jason's mom, had called this dude out before. He had come up to the window because we used to all skate together, and they were like, she was like, "Are you on speed?"
Mm-hmm.
And he just cussed her out.
Right.
And she was like, "What the fuck is this nut job?"
Right.
You know. But they lived right down the road, and when we got old enough, they were like, "Hey, this is what we're doing," and so they were selling meth. You know, the whole family was in
Right.
on it, and so the person that, like, one of my friends that came from like West Fort Worth, he was doing it too, and he was trying to get away from the people he was hanging out with because they were on the way to like prison and shit. And it just so happens he had done that stuff before, so we started doing meth, and all this crazy shit started happening, and you know,
Right. So meth was going on. Meth was prevalent.
Real casual,
Right? Yeah.
just like, now
Yeah.
we're doing meth.
Right.
Yeah,
Hey,
and that-
speaking of that, hold on. Let's pause real quick. Hit commercial. If you are looking for a personal injury attorney, there is Max the
Speaking of that, here's a personal injury attorney.
Yeah. Speaking of meth,
Meth
here's a
hurt
personal.
yourself.
if you
Here
hurt
is
yourself
a-
while on meth,
Right, exactly. Hit up thispinklawyer.com. That is Max the Axe, and it will route you to Lone Star Injury Attorneys. And he is a personal injury attorney practicing in Texas and California, and he will get you maximum results. That is thispinklawyer.com. And then our favorite part of the show is when Chad reads an AI commercial or a commercial written by AI in his myriad of characters, whatever pops into Chad's head, which is always sometimes interesting and sometimes fun, but we'll see what shows up. But anyway, that's Stepping Stones Sober Living. Our friend Joe Lindsay, that's 920-454-0569. And Chadwick, take it away.
Do you have an Austrian voice? Can we do that?
No.
His Austrian voice
Does not take requests.
His
Cool.
Austrian voice is kind of his German voice, so he has variances. He has the I Love Madonna is almost
Oh
Italian.
my god, they
as well.
love me, don't I? So much. I think we're gonna go. I'm gonna start with my ASMR chick.
Okay. Yeah, we're gonna take off our headphones.
Are you or someone you know struggling with addiction? And like,
You sound like Sling Blade, dude.
Are you someone you know struggling with addiction and looking for a safe and secure environment to begin the road to recovery? Stepping Stone Sober Living is the place to go.
Okay, so now you sound like Sling Blade taking in a dump.
we know firsthand that the journey to sobriety can seem impossible, but you never have to do it alone. Our community provides the support and encouragement. I'll never make it past
You love
encouragement, bro.
encouragement.
Encouragement to you need to stay on track and achieve your recovery goals. We offer clean, comfortable accommodations that will help you feel right at home. Plus, our location is conveniently close to historic downtown McKinney and several vibrant recovery groups, so you can easily access the support and resources you need to succeed. Recovery is a journey, not a destination, you fucking idiot. If you're serious about your recovery, we want to help.
Did AI say that?
Doesn't sound like Joe Lindsay, dude.
Right?
Yeah, so that's it. And
All right.
Joe's number is
Yeah, it is.
920-454-0569.
There you go. Stepping Stone Sober Living. And thank you for that, Chadwick and his multiple
You
personalities.
fucking idiot.
Anyway, hey, and then we've got a new EP coming out July 28th, and it's got a couple of songs that we put out in the past, but this is our new one. So take it away, Chadwick.
Oh,
Play LP is long play. Yeah.
Long.
Hey everybody, welcome back. Yeah, so just fun fact, EP stands for extended play, and an LP is long play. Or
no.
Actually long playing.
no, it's elf penis.
You guys are gonna drop an elf penis.
That is
dropping
correct.
elf penises
Hey, that's
left
on
and
our
right, dude.
How
hey dude, that's
exciting.
on our elf penis. Yeah, that's great. Dude.
It's on the chapter 1 elf penis.
Yeah, exactly. Check it out. No, but it is on the Spotify and all the major streaming platforms, and so is the show. So while you're there, be sure and hit subscribe, and follow us as music type people. Yeah, there you go. So, but anyway, back to your story, meth, and then I know there's some craziness coming up because you were also in the club scene too. Like, how old were you when you got into that? And then I know it was probably. It sounds like it was a steady road to chaos.
Yeah,
You know?
it was progressive,
Yeah.
definitely. So like I first like heard like drum and bass and stuff. I went over to some people's house that my friend Quincy had just like moved back from Arlington, and they got this house, the pink house, honestly. And what's funny is my aunt's house was on the next street, or my godmother, I mean.
Okay.
And those were like two pink houses a street over, the only ones like in the neighborhood. And I go over there to buy some weed or something, and they're like listening to this weird ass shit.
Right.
And he comes like walking in. I'm like, what are y'all doing? He's like, oh man, we're cleaning and snorting K.
All right. Cool.
I'm like, oh.
I just came for some
Fucking
weed.
moon
Yeah,
boots.
yeah.
Fucking moon boots, dude.
And I was like, what the fuck are you listening to? And they were like, this is Ronnie Size, man. This is drum and bass. You never
Right.
heard of drum and bass? I'm like, no. And I was a punk rock kid. So,
Uh-huh.
like, I was like, well, let me get some of that K. Let me get some weed. And
Let me get some K too.
Yeah, hell
so
yeah.
it turned
I-
into a multiple.
I had done
Stop.
it once.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, once before. And
and then give me a side of that drum and bass too.
yeah, I asked for
Hell
all
of a
their
combo.
CDs. I borrowed all these Dara, AK-1200, Diesel Boy.
Right.
And so, like, I was completely converted from, like, punk rock fucking degenerate kid to I want to be a raver.
Uh-huh.
But this was, like, when everything had just got shut down.
Uh-huh.
The Rave Act had come into play. I'm like, hey, where can I go and listen to this? They're like, nowhere.
Right. you can go to the pink house, dude.
But so that all came into play, and everything started spiraling out of control. And so my parents sent me to Utah to one of those kidnapping facilities.
That's what I heard, and we were talking about that.
Kidnapping
Yeah. No,
facilities.
they
I
got
don't
some.
think that's the
look,
industry term.
Look, dude, they got some shady shit going on in Utah where it's like, here, dude, I'm gonna go ahead and sign my kid's life away.
Yeah.
Just try not to kill him while he's there.
Fucking
you know?
the guy I work for, dude,
Yeah.
Drew, the CEO of Phoenix House.
Yeah.
Same thing.
Yeah.
It was a kidnap. That's like
Yeah.
exactly how he described it too.
The
Right.
only thing different with this one is when they came to pick me up in the morning, all my friends were there.
Oh.
So it was like fucking standoff. So they called the cops and
Oh wow.
yeah.
Oh dude, so it was like your friends versus
Oh,
the,
yeah.
oh,
These two
nice.
farmers.
Dude, I would love showing up to that, and it's like, Dude, we're meeting resistance, picking somebody up that needs to go to resistance.
I thought you meant your friends were there to intervene, but
Yeah,
now
hell
you're
no.
saying
they were there
like,
to get your back,
yeah,
dude.
You're
Yeah.
not taking him.
Yeah, right,
Yeah,
dude.
yeah. One of them had gotten a concussion fighting over the liquor bottle earlier that night, and his mom told him, "Hey, they're sending Tony away this morning." He lived at apartments right down the road from me, so he just ran.
Right.
And
You're not taking my Tony.
Yeah, he said that they tried to block the stairwell. Well, we always jumped over the flower bed and went to the house.
All
And
right.
he comes in crying, erratic. He's
We're
like,
gonna
"Bro."
take you, Tony.
And I'm like, "Hey, we can take these dudes." Like,
I'm still on that K, boys. Let's do this.
well, I was rolling and drunk,
Yeah,
and,
dude.
and then all of a
Hey,
sudden,
we can take
Just
you,
unstoppable.
dude.
Yeah.
Feeling absolutely unstoppable.
yeah. So he grabs a mag light, all fucked up on morphine, big gash in his head, and goes at these dudes, and I just hear these tires screech, and
Right.
it was the officer that hated our guts.
Oh, Officer Hate Our Guts.
Yeah,
I know.
Yeah, shouts out to Officer Hate Our Guts.
Right.
I respect him now,
Yeah,
but
of
back
course.
then it was just like
He was
so-
the enemy. I
yeah,
got it.
he threw them all up against the wall. He's like, "Get the fuck out of here!" My
Right.
mom was like, "They've been doing fucking drugs all night and
Right.
drinking and blah, blah." They're like, "What the fuck?" And they take off.
All right.
And so they bring this chick. They honeypotted me, man.
Okay.
Yeah, they bring.
no.
I mean, dude, she was smoking hot, and
Uh-huh.
she just sat on my bed and grabbed my hand.
Oh, yeah?
And she was like, "It's gonna be okay."
Let me take your
and
pulse.
I'm like,
Oh my God.
Right.
"Fuck." is
Right.
going
You're
on,
rolling your
bro?"
fucking nuts
Yeah.
off.
Yeah, I'm
All
just
right.
like, there's this hot chick, you know, and my jaw's just like, and so I went.
Brilliant.
Yeah, I went to Utah for 10 months.
Did
man.
she have like an inhaler, like a Vicks
She's like,
vapor
"Here,
rub?
hit this," and
She's got fucking. She's got light up gloves. Come with me.
Yeah, right?
just drags me to the car like that.
Right. Hell yeah.
Some Christian drum and bass playing.
But so yeah, I went and spent
10
10 months in Utah. I could write a book about that place. I won't get too
Yeah.
far into it. It was
Well,
in,
what was the place called?
Sorensen's Ranch School.
Okay. Did anybody get indicted on charges that ran the facility?
I saw there's been some employees there that there had been talk of, but everything was like really hush hush because it was in a town of like at the time like 230 people up in the mountains.
Mm-hmm. Right.
It was about a 45-minute drive down from the mountains.
Right.
And
Where you could really.
yeah,
Is
yeah,
it-
I
is it-
recognized
what is
that.
it?
Alive and well, dude.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
30
All right.
years of experience.
There we go.
Yeah, it was an experience. You know, I'm glad I went there.
Right.
You know, when I got out, like I hooked up with this chick, and I was just gonna smoke and drink because I came home and everybody had
the
chilled
old
out.
dial it back plan.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And my friends had broken into my house while I was
Those are fantastic
Yeah.
friends, by the way.
stole a whole bunch of shit while my parents were up there visiting me, and so the circle kind of disbanded. And some people were over here, some people were over here, and they're
Right.
like, "Man, we all chilled out." I'm like, "All right, I'll chill out too."
What did they break in your house for?
Xanax.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, but,
all right,
but
that makes
they,
sense.
Yeah, they ended up stealing all my blacklight posters, jewelry, guns.
While he's in rehab,
Yeah,
let's go ahead
straight
and
up.
just
Bro, that's
Totally.
savage.
right.
dude.
Yeah.
By the way, I like that T-shirt. I'm gonna take that too. These socks don't look to be too worn.
We're already fucked.
grab
We already
that-
taken all this shit. We might as well take everything we want.
Grab the glow in the dark graphics.
right
fucking
posters.
poster,
That's
yeah.
hilarious.
But so I had gotten out, and I'm not blaming this chick. You know, I made but she pulled, like, I got with this girl, and she pulled out some Xanax, and it was back on.
Right.
Honey potted again, dude.
I
Right.
tried it again, and I got thrown on probation, so I couldn't smoke weed anymore. So I started. I'm like, well, I had just broken up with that chick, and my buddy was like, "Hey, man, let's get your mind off of this. Here, we're going to the Lizard Lounge. Here, this is
Nice.
Planet of the Drums are going to be there." And I
Right.
went and I saw that.
Well, that's all your heroes at the time.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
AK-1200, Diesel Boy, all that.
Dara and
Yeah.
MC Messinian, and I was just so jaw dropped. I'm like, I'm gonna buy turntables,
Right.
And so I started doing that, and I got really good, really fast. And it took a while before I started DJing, but like since I couldn't smoke weed, I started drinking like a motherfucker,
Right.
And then I started getting gigs and things like that. I started working with promotion companies, throwing underground shows in Fort Worth.
Mm-hmm.
And I ran into somebody. I started doing this radio show that was on Everyday Junglist. Well, he had the show. He had the only dubstep show on a strictly drum and bass streaming channel out of
Gotcha.
Austin.
Okay.
And so we started like messing around and stuff. And then I started kind of dabbling. So heroin had gotten popular,
Okay.
you know.
I think heroin's always been popular.
Yeah.
By the way.
Yeah, I guess I just never.
Yeah. You just didn't
Really,
know it. It
well,
wasn't on your radar.
There was a surge,
Oh,
I
okay.
think, after we went to war with Iraq,
Ah.
and like all of a sudden, like just
Right.
this shit started to spike, and so I was snorting it every once in a while, and then I go to like lock down a venue.
Uh-huh.
And my buddy's like dope sick, and he's like, "Man, I'm gonna be sick." I was like, "Man, I'll buy you your shit, but you got to give me half of it."
Right.
You know,
of course.
And so he's like, "All right," and he comes back with it. He's like, "There's only one way to do this," and there was two. He had two rigs in his hand, and so I was barred out. I was drunk, and
He ripped you off, dude. You're my favorite kind of friend, dude.
No.
I promise you.
I
I'll tell
was
you how
that guy.
later, dude.
I was that guy, but yeah. So he hit me, and we're like right in front of Ridgely Theater at this gas station right next to it, and I just remember pulling in the Ridgely Theater parking lot in the back and just blacking out. I came to in the hospital and like was just like,
Right.
and the nurse, she's just freaked out. She said, "Oh my God!" And like,
We thought you were dead.
She goes to run out of the
Right.
room, and she turns around. She's like, "Wait." She's like, "Do you know where you are?" And I'm like, "The hospital."
Right.
And she's like, "Do you need anything?" I'm like, "Water."
Right.
And I was like, "Oh shit, I'm probably gonna end up talking to the cops." I start ripping everything out of my arm,
Right.
and just start bleeding everywhere. And I just see those shiny black shoes
Oh.
from under the curtain, and I'm like, "Oh, just cover up my bleeding."
Right.
You know, they're like, "So what happened?" I'm like, I got low blood sugar."
Right. There you go. Hold
Yeah?
on. You all of a sudden turned into a Wilford Brimley,
Yeah.
and you go diabetes. Diabetes.
So what happened? Diabetes.
Right. Yeah. Right. There you go.
And they were like, "Oh, that's the story you're sticking to?" I'm like, "Yep,
Yep.
sure is." And so that would happen multiple times after
Right.
that. And, you know, a normal person would stop, but I just couldn't stop.
Uh-huh.
And I would try to quit and like just not do it for a little while, but something would tell me, "Hey, you've been this long without it. You'll be
Right.
okay
You
to
got
start."
this under
Yeah.
control. You can successfully navigate heroin now.
Yeah,
Right.
and would just overdose again.
Right.
And I would just run it. I'd go to hospitals, mental institutions, jail,
Mm-hmm.
and I'd be like, "All right, this is it. I'm going to get my life together." And sometimes it took 30 minutes. Sometimes it took a week, a month.
Right.
Sometimes it was right out the gate.
Well, how many times would you say you technically relapsed? Or would you consider that?
I wouldn't even consider it a relapse. I'd say I was still caught up in the cycle.
Okay, so the cycle, and then how long would you say that cycle lasted?
So, oh my God.
I mean, I guess from what, 12?
Yeah.
From smoking pot to with dad to
To speedballs.
to speedballs.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Now this is where
Shout
you
out
and,
Speedballs, dude.
this is where you and
Shout out
Chad.
Speedballs.
Yeah, this is where you and Chad like overlap because heroin wasn't enough.
No, it
Right. Yeah.
stopped working, and I had gotten out of the first time. I actually went to a place to treat my place for drug and alcohol treatment. It was, shout out Pine Street,
Yeah.
in Fort Worth, state funded treatment all day. But yeah, I'd gotten out, and my buddy's like, "Hey, I'm working on this campaign, and they pay you, and blah blah blah." I'm like, "Word!" And of course, he's strung the fuck out on heroin,
Right.
And so I get some heroin, and I was doing coke I wasn't mixing it yet, but I was
Right.
doing coke so I wouldn't fall out, and I thought it was too. Well, I don't want to be doing meth because that's trashy.
Right. of
Like,
course.
what is this?
Because heroin's not.
Yeah,
at
no
all, dude.
shit, right?
Heroin's classy.
Totally
classy.
delusional,
Right.
and yeah, on the drug hierarchy.
Right.
But yeah, I'm like, man, hook me up with a donkey. I called them donkey kicks,
Okay.
and I was like, man, throw some fucking coke in there too, and it was on. It was just like, I don't know, I had arrived.
Right.
You know what I'm
That
saying?
was hold on. Hold on. It took that whole long of a time for you to have that moment.
That
finally.
was it. This is
Right.
the perfect combo, bro.
Right.
Like,
How
here
did
we
you,
go.
how did you feel? Was that? Did you have that too, Chad, or
It
did you
knocked
have
me
it when?
out, dude?
Dude, the first time I did one, I had a friend doing some, and he was like, we had been snorting it or whatever, and he was like, no, dude, you got to shoot it, and blah, blah, blah. I was like, no, I don't want to do that. I was like, because I know if I do that, I'm only going to want to do that for the rest of my life, and I'm only going to want to do it that way if I like it. And then he just fucking sprinkled some in there and didn't tell me, and then I did it, and dude, I was so right with what I had said. That, like
I told
the
you so.
the years of my life that I lived doing heroin and like successfully managing it for the most part, like 8 years, 9 years of it, all went down the drain in 6 months. You know what I mean? And I was homeless. I was everything else.
Yep.
Like almost immediately.
And that's when all the
I
skin
was-
popping occurred.
Yeah, that's when all the scars and everything else started
I
happening.
got the skin popper
Yeah,
right
dude.
there.
Right.
Yeah.
Nice. We got matching scars.
Yeah,
We're
buddy.
twinsies.
Yeah. But shit spiraled out of control really fast, and always chasing that first one. And after I got out of treatment, I had gotten like a sponsor and started working the steps, and it was the most half-assed. It wasn't even a real attempt.
Right.
Yeah, I was doing it because there were people in.
You were
treatment.
doing it because you were supposed to.
Yeah,
Right.
the two people I respected were doing it because it was a choice in state-funded treatment.
Right.
And so I was like, well, they're doing it. I'm going to do it too. And it was so half-assed that I was back out in like 3 days. But I called my sponsor. I'm like, hey, man, I'm going to go back out. I'll call you when my life's in shambles again.
Right.
And
I love that you were honest with your.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm gonna go out and fuck up some more and see what I can get away with, but I'll call
how much
you.
further I can
Yeah,
fall.
exactly.
And
I'll let you know when I hit my bottom.
man,
Right.
in that time period, I overdosed in front of my mom. She had to Narcan me.
Yeah, that happened a couple of times, right? Because
well-
I actually saw a video of people doing chest compressions on you. and
Yeah,
I was
those
like,
were my. That
oh,
was a
that's-
week out of jail.
Oh, that I was like, oh, that's nice.
I was like, I'm done. You know, I'm gonna straight and narrow. It took a week, and that weekend I was like, I'm getting Xanax, cocaine, heroin.
how many
and
times did you overdose?
11 times I could tell you what happened before and after.
Okay. Hey, and real quick, because I want to get to this part, but you actually had an NDE, right?
Yes. Okay. So one time I'm with my buddy, and this was when those green Hulk bars came out, and I took 2 of those.
Okay.
And we were moving.
Green Hulk bars are
They're the-
ecstasy
They're
or
Xanax.
They're Xanax,
Xanax,
from
okay.
Canada, actually.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Oh.
And
Green and
they've-
yellow ones.
They've
Yeah.
got they're green because of the
And I
maple-
do believe that the
they're-
alprazolam in it was a research chemical.
really,
One of the new ones, yeah.
Well,
They're
it's just an extra molecule added on.
They're
to
green
the
because
actual-
they have
that
molasses in
shit.
them.
That shit did it. Right
Oh,
there.
hell yeah, it does. Hell yeah, it does.
But so you know, I'm moving furniture with my friend. He's strung out, and so we get some stuff. We go back to my apartment over off College Avenue in South Fort Worth, and I just remember like being on the couch, and then I just have these little blinks of like flashing lights being pushed down these stairs. I saw myself being gurneyed into the ambulance, and then
So you were outside of your body
Yeah.
looking down.
and then I flashed back. It was like pins and needles. I was trying to talk as I was going down these stairs, but it was like,
Right? It was those Incredible Hulks talking, dude.
yeah. I was trying to
Right.
I was trying to get Hulkified, but
Right.
I kept going in and out of my body.
Did you feel tethered at any point?
I felt I couldn't move, and
Uh-huh.
I could feel pins and needles.
Okay.
And I remember them getting me out of the ambulance, and I flashed, and I saw myself getting pushed into John Peter Smith Hospital. Went out again. Came back to my mom sitting on the edge of my bed, crying with my dad holding her.
Yeah.
My friends that lived there called the 911, and
They called 911 and immediately left.
that was
Right.
Jordan
Yeah,
had
right.
left me. They came
Oh,
home
shout
from,
out Jordan.
Yeah, they came home from work and found me half in the bathroom, half out in the hallway.
Wow.
Lips blue, all that.
Yeah.
And I was trying to tell my mom, hey, it's gonna be okay.
Right.
Hey, look, I'm all right, but I couldn't move. But I thought I was talking to her, and finally I come out of it, and she freaks out, and she's like, oh my God, there you are. Oh my God, I thought you were dead.
Right.
I was like, Mom, I'm sweating bullets. And I was like, Mom, I was telling you that I was okay. She's like, Tony, you haven't moved
Right.
at all. I thought I was.
For how long?
I don't remember.
Well, no, but what did she say? Did she say or?
She.
Dude, you were dead for 30 minutes.
Yeah,
Right?
she was. I don't know, because I was just in and out of that.
And then, okay, so during the NDE, did you have any kind of prolific experience?
No, it was like I thought. I was like, dude, am I
dead?
dead?
All right.
Because I can't move. I feel pins and needles, and all I can do is this.
Right.
Like no words are coming out.
Gotcha.
Okay. And that's what it was.
Right.
I was like, holy shit, I just had an out of body fucking experience.
Right.
You
Okay.
know? And it didn't stop there. And finally, I ended up in treatment down in Waco.
Uh-huh.
And something clicked. And I was like, I didn't even think it was going to work. I was like, man, I'll just go and my tolerance will go down. But
Good plan.
yeah,
Right.
my buddy who I was getting high with was like, man, I'm going to sober living. You ought to too. And the counselors were like, you ought to go to sober living. So I did that. I just started
Right.
taking mad suggestion. And I moved into an Oxford house where everybody was working a
Shout out Oxford House,
Yeah.
which is like a great program. It's out there nationwide. It's available like in pretty much every city.
Yeah.
Even smaller ones like Waco.
And man, everybody was working a solid program, practicing the traditions of Oxford. Like, thank God I got into that house. Like,
Right.
because I was just
Because
like,
you needed that built-in accountability and
Yeah.
that built-in community, right?
and people doing like the deal for real.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And man, I'd like to say it's all, you think when you get sober, it's going to all be fucking, rainbow.
Unicorns and rainbows.
Yeah,
dude.
yeah. No, dude, like life bitch smacked me in the face as soon as I got out of treatment.
Uh-huh.
Like, the first girl I was ever with, she was murdered, and they finally brought the dude up on capital murder charges because they never found her.
Right.
So like this is big news going on.
Yeah,
in
no
Fort
body,
Worth.
no crime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And finally they get this guy. I'm like, holy shit, And then one of my mentors that like got me started out here in Dallas disappeared for a little bit, and nobody knew where he was. And now was kind of fucking with me. And I'll just anything that I can do to
get out of your head and
Yeah.
worry about somebody else.
Well, and it sounds like for you, what ended up working, at the end was obviously you had it enough times, because I always say you can't make somebody want it.
yeah.
So you actually wanted it this time, but then you also did the Oxford House route, and you had that built-in accountability that really stuck with you. And then you're also at a sober living still working there. But
Yeah.
so let's mention that or shout that out.
Yeah. So now I work at Stages of Recovery.
Uh-huh.
And I'm the lead house manager there. And it's a really cool program. They include.
Well, I was going to say, do you think if you were outside of that program that you would actually probably not be sober?
I've experienced being out of the sobriety bubble. I used to work at a treatment center called Brazos. Awesome fucking place.
Brazos.
Yeah.
Shout out, dude.
Oh,
Brazos.
Yeah, but I got fired from there.
You're right.
Yeah, and I went back to Fort Worth to Mama's couch.
Okay.
And I had like $8,000 in the bank and like no accountability.
Uh-huh.
And people were hitting me up. They're like, hey, we got this. Well, what's up, man? You're back in town and blah,
Right.
blah, blah. And I was like, holy shit. I'm like, I'm either going to go this way
Right.
or this way. So I fucking just started hopping into the rooms around Fort Worth, and
Uh-huh.
I found a group, and they were going to like Tiki Paw, Texas, and I was like, hey man, I'm like, I'm just gonna level with y'all. Like, this is my situation. Can I hang out with y'all? 'Cause, like I'm either gonna go this way or this way in recovery. So I did that until the job offer came for Stages down in Waco.
Uh-huh.
It came again.
Okay.
And I took that, but I had no accountability. Like I could have twisted off, like nobody would know, and I had the money to do it too.
Right.
You know. But
Yeah. What stopped you?
I told myself there are people that I hadn't met yet who could use my help.
Okay.
And yeah, that's one thing that's anytime I've come close to like relapse or anything, I'm like, you know, they say, okay, of course you can't do it for anybody else. You got to do it for yourself. But that's really helped me.
Well, I mean, for me, like this show is a little built-in accountability.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And it's not like, oh God, if this show goes away, all these people, you know. But it's just like, you know, hey, I'm here. I'm trying to be a role model and try to inspire some hope for some people in the community,
Yeah.
or people that are struggling.
It's been about me my whole life, and
Yeah.
it's been a fucking train wreck.
Uh-huh.
You know what I'm saying?
So just making it about somebody else,
Yeah,
and somebody
my
else
life
that
ain't-
you can help out.
Yeah, my
Right.
life ain't about me anymore.
Right.
You know? And
I like that.
I am of the
Yeah.
opinion that my life belongs to the community.
Yo, I dig that.
It's
I
a
dig
it's a
that.
badass quote from George Bernard Shaw.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's a whole like paragraph. It's fantastic.
Yeah, dude, like it ain't about me no more, man. Like
Well, okay, so if somebody's in the Waco area and looking for a good sober living facility, where can they find the information?
so you can go to stagesofrecovery.com
Uh-huh.
and fill out an application.
Uh-huh.
We have several locations, Waco, we have Lubbock, and Oklahoma City.
Okay.
And it's really badass. I mean, Steve Medley, shouts out to Steve Medley and Cole Watts. They're freaking awesome people, and they've
Cool.
taken care of me.
I was going to say, anybody you'd like to shout out before
Oh,
we
yeah.
go? Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Shouts out to Brazos, too.
Okay.
Shout out Brazzers, dude.
All right. Well, y'all, I feel outnumbered. I went to Summer Sky, which is not too far away from Brazos, but W here works at Brazos. And also, speaking of sober living, you have the Cardinal House, right?
Yep.
So that's in the Dallas area?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, so where are your houses located, and how can they get a hold of you?
My phone number is 918-998-4223. Again, that's 918-998-4223, like you couldn't pull it back and play it again. But yeah, we've got a house in North Dallas, Richardson, and Frisco.
Right.
And Stages is actually a place, like, I mean, I would put family there. Like,
Right.
I've gotten to walk through their facility, recently opened a women's housing component, and that's
Yeah.
existed.
Well, not in Waco.
Right.
Yeah.
But
so-
the clinical component that Stages offers has been open to women, and now they have a women's housing, and it's an apartment complex. It's an apartment building,
Right.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
not like we've got a house and you got roommates and stuff. They remodeled this apartment building.
Right. How many units?
I don't remember how many units, but I
Okay.
know some rooms are single, some are doubles, and then you kind of share an apartment, like a 2-bedroom apartment with like one or two other guys. Kitchen, living room, dude.
Right.
If I had to go to sober living right now,
That'd be it.
undoubtedly, dude, I'd be hanging out with Tony.
It is.
Bro, it's
the-
unreal.
You know, I love the house that I got sober in, but it is nothing like
Yeah.
what.
I got sober in Oxford too.
Yeah, it was in Belmead with like people riding by on BMX bikes. Like, hey, I got that. And I'm
different.
like, yo, it's sober living, man.
But thanks.
Like, yeah, that's why I'm here, bro.
Well, all right, dude. Well, I appreciate you making the trip in. That was a nice little drive, 2-hour drive, right?
1 hour and 20 minutes.
And you get to you
Speeding
can
ass,
you can
dude.
yeah, right, dude.
No, this is just like coasting.
Coasting.
Hit the three-wheel
But
motion,
hey, but you
know?
can listen to a back episode of This Pink Cloud on Spotify when you're in the car traveling. But hey, man, thanks for coming out. It was good to hear your backstory, and it's crazy.
Yeah,
Definitely.
sorry it's so jumbled up.
No, it's all good. I think we got the gist of it.
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
if I could just say one more thing,
Yeah,
like
sure.
I didn't even think this was gonna work, man, but I just took like mad suggestion, and if anybody out there like thinks that there's no hope, man, like you can hit me up.
Right. Yeah,
You know, if
yeah.
you just need somebody to talk to, or you need to get into treatment. or
And
you
you're
don't-
just under Tony D on what, Facebook? and-
yeah, it's Tony D Dulaney.
Ah, there you go.
But yeah, feel free to hit me up, even if you don't want to get sober and you just need somebody to talk to. Like,
Yeah, I always tell people that, like, all the time, dude, and people will hit you up. And, you know, I think it's an amazing thing when you can give them good advice from your experience, you know, 'cause
Yeah.
definitely you've had a lot of
I'm
experience.
like Vin Diesel, like Triple X. I live
Family.
I live for this shit.
All right. Well, thanks for coming out, dude. Josh W. Jordan, always a pleasure. If you're in the Dallas area, be sure and hit up Cardinal House. If you're looking for some recovery, hit up Brazos. And Chadwick, as always,
Yeah,
a
man.
pleasure.
Hi, brother. I just want to say I appreciate it, brother.
Hi,
working with you, man.
That's
Hi,
my favorite.
brother.
Hey, brother.
Hey, brother.
You're
hey,
welcome.
brother.
Hey, brother.
Yeah,
You're welcome.
Hey,
Hey,
brother.
I want to
You're
know
welcome.
that you live in gratitude, man, and I can feel it because I know how welcome you really are.
Hey, man, you are welcome.
Man, you are so welcome. At the end of the day, man, when you put your little head down on that little pillow and you take off that little diaper, I know that you are truly welcome, my friend.
Love it.
I like
Well,
the way you talk.
next week we've got your buddy, actually Chance, and
Yeah.
he has got a great story.
Yeah.
He will be in here. And anyway, other than that, please subscribe. And remember, kids, there is no magic pill for sobriety, because if there was, we would all take too many.
Yep.
I'm